Most humans in modern settings have very little immediate and practical use for their built-in fight-or-flight instincts when compared to not only our ancestors of several generations, but most animals in the wild today. Fight or flight is a psychological defense mechanism that senses a danger and assesses whether we should engage in combat to beat the danger or make an attempt to flee the encounter. It's very useful in the case of a snake crossing your path, allowing your subconscious to pump adrenaline and other chemicals throughout your body to prepare yourself to safely deal with the danger laid out without having to bear that weight yourself in your own waking psyche. Unfortunately for the modern human, the fight-or-flight sense has left itself pent up, on edge, ready to strike at any moment. So, when you face something of mild importance, such as a job interview or a first date, or even so much as a trip to the grocery store, anything necessary to survival, not in the Paleolithic era, but in a capitalist society, your brain activates your fight-or-flight response without an actual danger to attack or evade. In simple terms, that's anxiety. Well, that's part of it at least. Mental health is much more complex than that, but that detail is what we need going forward today. You see, our fight-or-flight response may not be paying itself off in particularly useful circumstances, but we seek catharsis, an opportunity to feel the feeling our instinct wants us to feel in a controlled environment without any real danger. Whether that be a film, or a book, or a podcast, or a TV show, or a painting, or a campfire tale, or a forum post, or a YouTube video, or the newspaper, we seek the genre of horror. Your monkey brain actively seeks out the thrill of terror for the sake of feeling any particularly strong feeling. Fear operates in much the same way as humor or sexual release, and it's largely attributable to the crossover these three feelings see in many pieces. Throughout the genre, any bizarre forms of grotesque beings, phantasmal anomalies, or white men can present themselves in a threatening way while only impressing the suggestion of danger, only presenting you, the audience, with an illusion of the lack of safety. Simulated fear. Of the multitude of monsters that can be shaped by fiction and presented to an interpreter, there's perhaps none so simple, yet so distressing, as fire. To man, fire is as animal as wolf, and just as tameable. Just as we have shaped the Canis lupus into the golden retriever and the Pomeranian over many, many generations, we have shaped this ferocious beast into combustion engines and conventional ovens. Our mutual understanding of each other, the knowing glare between predator and prey, it, frankly, doesn't scare me. This is a monster I built of my own doing and one I can snuff out like a candle. To hear the fiction of eldritch abominations, to ponder the vast abyss of eternity, to stare down the headlights that pulled in front of me and scream, not in terror, but in defiance of a life lived passively. A life of little action in a world defiled by true monsters. Torn and oppressed under the boot of the Titans. Titans I have made no effort to traverse, such to make an effort to end their rule and grant prosperity to my fellow humans. To accept the consequences of such sloth as the justification for my impending doom. And then to walk away. To challenge the Reaper and spit in his face to know true simulated fear. And now, to look upon this, a flame, to think that this is fear. A message to the empathetic. I congratulate you for your emotional state. Not every human is quite like that. The unfortunate truth comes in the form of the actual monster in this film. No good person would fool you into believing their own hoaxed distress for the sake of a reaction. It's irresponsible, abusive, and selfish. It's also why I apologize for invoking the narrative of the car accident I was involved in as part of the demonstration, since that is an event that does deliver a true feeling of trauma upon me and is not false in occurrence as the self-mutilation you just witnessed was. I do, however, like to imagine the feeling you felt when you saw my real hand approach the inferno. Perhaps you pitied my feigned trepidation. Maybe you were ashamed of my decision to harm my own self, or you might have jumped back, momentarily startled by the sense of danger you thought you saw me in. You thought you saw a victim enter a state of damage, a position that your brain recognizes as undesirable for survival, activating those fight or flight responders. Take this as a lesson to all. Seek fear, but express caution. Pain and death are avoidable, especially in developing a work of fiction. You can instill a sense of fear upon audiences without ever instilling a direct and real hazard or sense of peril upon the developer of what they see. What they see may not be the full picture, but should they see the full picture, they won't see the risk implied to be presented by the artistic context. It is your job to exercise safety while presenting the illusion of the lack of safety.